Right, Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Want to give double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone that to rule well. Salutations to the men of the Hope Land since elect. This Makazar from the Trinidad camp. Just want to do all the edification to elect sake. And the name of this lesson will be virtue. And the reason why, naming the lesson virtue is because, being in this truth, we have to have some form of, let's say, class or standard about ourselves. All right, we come in the truth, and there are things that we do and not do, or things that we change when coming into the truth, and we do it simply because thus said the Lord. All right, but as the scripture said in Romans chapter 9, I believe it's verse 31, it says Israel that had the law of righteousness had not attained to the law of righteousness, wherefore they sought it as the works of the law and not by faith. So basically they did it just because thus said the Lord, and they didn't do it because it was in them to do it. So they did it like obligation, they did it just off tradition, and that is why they kept falling away. So now when we do things for the Lord, Psalms 40:8 says, I desire to do thy will. We have to desire, we have to delight. We have to delight to serve Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. It have to be in us. It have to be instilled in us. We have to want to do these things. When it comes to the brotherhood, we have to want to love the brotherhood and not just do it just because thus said the Lord. All right? We have demons that we're going to be fighting in this truth. And some of the demons that we'll be fighting is a lack of virtue. The reason we fighting them demons is because of lack of virtue. All right? And we don't have to see, we might have an ill feeling towards a brother, wherever the case is. And, we might allow, them spirits to get the best of our thoughts. But if we held virtue close to us, we would this ain't feeling right. As the scripture said, their conscience seared with a hot iron. All right? So if your conscience ain't seared with a hot iron, you would this ain't right to our doing, or this ain't right to our thinking. All right? And all that will be because you have some form of virtue within you. All right? You might be feeling a particular way, doing a particular thing, but then when you see it in the scripture or you hear a brother speak about it, then you get cut, and then you say, you know what, I'm gonna stop doing this. But if you listen to your conscience that was in you to begin with, you would second guess it, something just ain't feeling right. And as the scripture said, they pass feelings. So you have to have some form of feeling within you, and it all begins with virtue. Philippians 4 verse 8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. All right? So, with Paul basically showing that, the things that are excellent, the things that, that people wouldn't look down on, because you're supposed to have some form of understanding to know that this ain't right. Like homosexuality, this ain't right. You didn't need to see it in the scriptures to know it wrong. All right? It ain't right. So you refraining from doing that. Having sex with a woman on her periods, that ain't right. So you ain't doing that. All right? Hey, having sex with another man's wife in the world, it ain't right. But a lot of us still did it. But within, we knew it was wrong. So now coming into this truth, into this marvelous light, that mind that told you that thing that you thinking or that thing that you doing ain't right, listen to that mind, because that is the virtue within you. All right? And I want to look up the word virtue in Philippians 4:8. When you look up the word virtue, is arate. It says a virtuous course of thought, feeling, and action. Virtue, moral goodness. So it's basically a standard that one has. All right? Any particular moral excellence and modest purity. So you must have a way in you that men would look up to. Let me see if I could find the scripture real quick. You know, it just came to mind. Let's see if I could find it. All right, this is Wisdom of Solomon 4 verse 1. Better is it to have no children and to have virtue. Is it? There's a spread. Virtue again. And that not even what I was looking for. But hey, better it is to have no children and to have virtue, moral excellence. For the memorial thereof is immortal, because it is known with Yahweh and with men. When it is present, men take example at it. So when you have that moral goodness within you, men take example of what you're doing. As the scripture said, by your good works, which they shall behold, they shall glorify Yahweh Hashem Yahshua day of visitation. All right? Walk in wisdom to them that are without. So by just your way of living, your mannerism, men will take example of that because they know it has some praise within it. It says, and when it is gone, they desire it. It, right? It weareth a crown and triumpheth forever, having gotten the victory, striving for undefiled rewards. So you have to have some form of virtue with you. When them defiled thoughts come to your mind, you're supposed to know when to cast them off. All right, you might say you're fighting demons, but guess what? Are you really fighting your demons? Are you really putting up a fight, or you are allowing them to consume your well-being, consume your inner man? You are allowing them to consume. You are not giving them that fight. All right, when you feel that ill thought towards a brother, you know it is wrong because the virtue is in you, but you giving in to the demon because why? Because it's more satisfying for you to hate and to dislike. Because you feel that in some form that you've been offended. So this is the best way to you dealing with your offense. But guess what? By doing this, you become your own offense. The scripture says it is better to rebuke than to be angry secretly. All right? So increase on the virtue that is within you. Now, when you look up the etymology of the word virtue, this is a good part about it. It says what? A male. A male. So it is something that a man is made with. A man has virtue. Women have no virtue. That is why you will see women will do things. She eat it and wipe it her mouth and say that she had done no wrong. Because that is what is in a woman. Women have no virtue. Men have virtue. So show yourself men. The scripture said, in malice you be children, but in understanding be ye men. So show the virtue that is within you. Increase on the virtue that is within you. When you go down to the Strong's definition, slack. All these things just keep popping up. When you go down to the Strong's definition, it says what? Properly manliness. All right? Manliness. If you consider yourself a man, then you're supposed to have virtue and you're supposed to show the virtue within you. All right? You acting all tough and proud, that is not manliness. That is a woman's trait. That is a woman's trait. Virtue is you showing your manliness. When you show your virtue, then you are being a man. All right? Then you are being a man. All right? This is 2nd Ezra chapter 9 verse 30. And thou spakest, saying, hear me, O Israel, and mark my words, thou seed of Jacob. For behold, I sow my law in you, and it shall bring you fruit, and ye shall honor in it forever. The Lord sow his laws in you. So the Lord sow that virtue within you, in the men. All right? So act on it. Show the virtue that you have within you. The thing that within you, the spirit that within you that telling you not to do this, not to think this way you're going to do wrong, act on it. Don't listen to the spirit on the left hand side that's saying to hate your brother or to commit adultery or to commit some form of abomination. Don't listen to that spirit. The virtue within you will prevent you from doing it. And the more you act on that virtue, you exercise that virtue, the more that virtue will increase. The more that spirit within you will increase. All right? So act on it. There's the final precept here. This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 8 verse 7. And if a man love righteousness, her labors are virtues again. All right? Her labors are virtues. That is wisdom. The basic form of wisdom is virtue because it's within you. The manliness within you is the virtue or the conscience that Yahweh Hashem Shai gave you. For she teacheth temperance and prudence and justice and fortitude. Which are such things a man can have nothing more profitable in life. All right? Self-control. All right? Justice. A balanced mind. A man can have nothing more profitable than these. All right? So act on those virtues that are within you and not on the bad spirits. All right? So I hope it was edifying. Want to give all praises to Yahweh Hashem Shai. Want to give double honors to the apostles of great mercy not do rule well. Salutations to the men of the Hope Land Saints elect. These markers are from the train.com saying shalom and stay strong. And until next time, I say shalom to the elect. Shalom.